Okay, my name is Darlene Monroe. Today I'm going to give instructions on how to make bannock. You see all my ingredients here on the table. I have water, milk, lard, salt, baking powder, and flour. The first step and I also have preheat your oven to 350 degrees. So now we'll start to put the ingredients in. Now this is for a medium-sized bannock, and I use, this is a 1 cup measuring. Don't have to be quite accurate as long as you get close to 1 cup. And altogether I will use 4 cups. I will use 3 cups in the bowl. And then use this as just to use when you're kneading the bannock. Okay, so now we'll use our ingredients. No use to have to be really precise as possible. I use 1. And a half of baking powder. And about the same with salt. 1. And a half. You know, a long time ago we didn't have tablespoons or measuring spoons, so we used our hands and just ladies back then knew exactly how much salt and baking powder to use when they made bannock. So I use a beater just to incorporate the baking powder and salt with the flour. I washed my hands ahead of time. In the meantime, I'm going to warm up, mix up 1 cup milk, 1 cup water. In the microwave, I'm going to warm it, just to warm, not hot. I don't know how long it will take, but maybe try 40. Now I'll incorporate lard into the flour and salt mixture. About a good big tablespoonful. Enough to get your incorporated with all of the flour. And I use my hands and keep mixing it until all the flour is incorporated with the flour, salt, and baking powder mixture. So I make a little well in the flour and take my mixture and pour in half, see how it looks. Because we want to make a medium size, not a real big, large bannock. begin to knead it. Incorporating all the flour and in the bowl to the mixture. Now you don't want your dough to be too floury. It should be a nice consistency. As you can see, it's pretty well incorporated. And so now I will grease my pan with lard. Making sure you do it well. So that your bannock will come out nice and brown on the bottom as well as on the top. As you can see, it's a nice round little shape, and then what I do is just knead it into the pan. So if you want a larger bannock, then you would most likely use about 6 cups of flour and 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and the same with the salt, and a good tablespoon or 2 of lard when you're mixing. So just have it shaped really nice and round. And this only took us 10 minutes to put together. So then you make a few dents in your bannock and put little daubs of lard in those little divots that I made. And this helps with browning of the top and making it nice and crispy. If you don't want it nice and crispy, then don't use the lard. Okay, and that's it. Now we'll throw it in the oven. Okay, until it's nice and brown.
So why was Bannock so popular amongst First Nations, or how did it come to be amongst First Nations?
Well, many years ago, when the treaty and the Europeans came to our country, we began to receive rations because our people were starving because we didn't have buffalo anymore. At that time, and which was our main staple. So we got flour, lard, baking powder, and all the ingredients to make bread. So the women made bannock. In those days, there were no stoves to cook your bannock. So they made the bannock, hung it over a stick, over an open fire. And that's how bannock was made. And it's become a staple of our diet amongst First Nation people.
Perfect.
The oven for about 45 minutes. So there's the bannock.
Nice.
And I will put it on a rack to cool. There we go. And let it cool a little bit before you slice it, and then enjoy it with your meal. What we used to use as butter before, because we didn't have butter a long time ago, is we would render our fat, use the fat with our meat and whatever, and then the rendered fat would be used for like butter, you know, and you do your bannock and a little bit of salt on top, and it was delicious. So if you don't have butter, use lard to do your bannock, to eat your bannock. So it took 40 minutes for the bannock to cook at 350 degrees.